I'm Madeline Erickson, and today I'm going to show you an interesting twist on sink or float. I'm sure all of you guys have used water in a classroom and your teacher has showed you, do you think this item is going to sink or float? Well, I think that's pretty cool, but one way to level up this game is to add a different liquid. And some of you might already know this, but water and oil do not mix, which means one of them will go on top of the other one and it'll create a whole new level of things will either sink on top of the, or sink in between the oil and the water, or just float on the water but not on the oil. It's pretty cool. So the first thing you need is a cup of water, and you need a see-through glass. So I'm just going to pour my water in here. And you don't need too much either. This is an interactive video, and if you want, you can do this at home, or you can just watch the video and pause it and then guess and play it when you're ready to see the answer. And then you need oil. I'm using canola oil because it's cheaper than olive oil, but any oil will work. And the first thing you're going to notice is that oil and water do not mix. So we'll give that a few minutes to set. All right, now let's start. So I am just using a random bag of things I've found around my house, and we're gonna see whether they float on top of the oil, go in the middle, or sink all the way down. Like I said before, feel free to pause the video at any time to take a guess. So the first thing I'm gonna use is a googly eye. And I always use something to poke it down with to see if it'll sink or pop back up. And it looks like this one definitely floats. All right, next up, a piece of plastic. This is something that usually you tie your bread together with, or the bread bag. So you can take a guess now. Now I think that's pretty cool. If you haven't noticed, it sinks in the oil because it's denser, but it doesn't sink in the water. And if I try to poke it down, it floats right back up. All right, next up, I have a plastic button. Oh, my bad. Looks like that is the same thing. Stays in the middle. Now let's try an eraser. Oh, that went right down. And that actually brought the button down with it. Now, I don't know if you guys know this, but a lot of the time something will stay in the middle if it has air stuck in it. So with the button, it probably had air stuck in those 4 holes in between, which made it float above the water. And it looks like there's a little fat pocket on the eraser. So we'll try and get that to come back up. All right. Now we're gonna try a popcorn kernel. It looks like that is actually stuck on the plastic part. So I'm gonna try and pop it down. And it doesn't come back up, which means it sinks all the way. I'm gonna try a penny. That sinks. What about a foam piece? Anyone guess what that's gonna do? If you thought it was gonna float, you were right. That thing is not going anywhere. Alright. Some of you may know what this is. It's a little bead you use for arts and crafts. Now, at first it looks like it's floating up top. It hasn't really sunk down. But let's try poking it, because it does have a hole in it, which might trap some air. There it goes. It looks like it's gonna stay there. When I try and poke it down, it doesn't look like it's gonna go into the water at all. Alright, what do we have next? How about a crouton? No matter how much I poke this thing, it does not want to go down. Nope, that floats right back up. Alright, so we'll push that to the side. Okay. Now we're going to try food coloring. I have blue. Oh, there goes the other drop. And it looks like that definitely sinks in the oil, but it mixes with the water, which is pretty cool. And if you guys were pausing the video and guessed that it was going to do that, that's pretty good on your part. Next thing we're going to try is a candle. Ready? Now I'm poking this down, and it looks like it floats. Now, if any of you guys know anything about candles, they're made out of wax, and wax is a type of fat. Now, oil is a type of fat as well. That's kind of why it sticks in between the middle. All right. Another thing, just a random household item I found is the back of an earring. Now this has metal in it, but it also has a plastic backing too. So metal and plastic together. Let's see what that does. Let's see if we try and poke it down. Oh. Looks like that sinks. All right. Now we're gonna try a straw. This is a plastic straw, just a little piece. So we pop that in there, try and poke it down. Oh, there it goes. Look like that's slowly making its way down, but for those of you wondering, it should float on top of the water because most plastics float on top of the water because it is denser. And now, last thing we're gonna try is a little piece of the popsicle stick. Anyone want to take a guess? Last minute guess. Let's see if we try and poke that down. Looks like the popsicle stick is floating on top. Alright, hope you like this interactive video.